For the last century, nations measured their military strength in tonnage and armor. Building a main battle tank requires tens of millions of dollars and decades of specialized engineering. But today, that massive steel fortress is increasingly vulnerable to a plastic quadcopter you can buy online with a credit card. Historically, the math of war was straightforward. Victory went to the country that could field the largest fleets, recruit the most soldiers, and spend the most on defense. This chart shows the exact economic imbalance breaking that historical math. A $500 piece of recreational technology now routinely destroys armored vehicles worth $10 million. This creates a massive problem for military planners. When inexpensive, easily replaceable machines can disable complex, high-value assets, the traditional logic of military spending becomes much harder to sustain. Major global powers are now stuck. They have billions of dollars tied up in heavy equipment that is suddenly highly exposed to disposable civilian tech. The components driving this threat didn't come from a classified weapons lab. They came from the civilian consumer market. Mass production of smartphone cameras, miniaturized GPS chips, and lithium batteries drove costs down to pennies. Militaries quickly realized these commercial parts offered a remarkably cheap way to put a camera in the sky and keep it there, providing commanders with a constant live feed of the battlefield. Because of that constant observation, hiding large troop movements or supply convoys is nearly impossible. If something moves above ground, a lens is likely watching it. But these platforms didn't stay strictly as observation tools for long. Operators soon figured out how to strap lightweight explosives to the frames, turning passive cameras into guided munitions. This gave rise to first-person view, or FPV, attack drones. Using live video feeds streamed directly to a headset, a human operator can manually fly these rigged aircraft into the weakest points of enemy armor. The pilot does all of this while sitting safely in a trench or bunker miles away from the actual explosion. By combining over-the-counter electronics with basic munitions, smaller armed groups can now field highly accurate guided weapons, gaining an aerial strike capability that used to belong exclusively to massive national air forces. Now, armies and navies have to figure out how to defend their largest, slowest targets from swarms of tiny, agile threats. The immediate response is usually electronic warfare. Defenders use specialized transmitters to jam local frequencies, hoping to break the radio signal connecting the incoming drone to its pilot. Militaries are also rushing to deploy directed energy systems, using high-energy lasers and heavy microwave emitters to physically burn these electronics out of the sky without firing a single bullet. This chart shows the primary reason militaries are desperate for those lasers. Right now, defending a base often means firing a traditional interceptor missile that costs $100,000 to destroy an aircraft that costs $500. At that ratio, even if the missile hits its target perfectly, the defender is bleeding money. An attacker can drain the resources of a superior military simply by forcing them to shoot down cheap targets. Traditional defense systems are facing a mathematical problem they aren't designed to solve. When protection costs 200 times more than the weapon it is stopping, the economic advantage shifts to the attacker, and the situation is about to accelerate. Relying on a human being to steer a drone with a remote control is a temporary stopgap. The next step in this evolution is the integration of artificial intelligence, designing software that completely removes the human operator from the strike process. This leads directly to the autonomous swarm. Instead of one pilot flying one machine, an operator launches hundreds of independent drones programmed to communicate with each other and attack as a single cohesive entity. If a defender jams one drone, the rest of the swarm instantly recalculates. They share targeting data in real time, shifting their flight paths to exploit weak points and overwhelm air defenses purely through numbers. When warfare is driven by software, machines react to threats in milliseconds. That speed outpaces the decision-making ability of any human commander trying to stop them. Future security will rely on network resilience and autonomous algorithms as much as physical armor. The result is a shift in the global balance of power, where the cost to destroy a high-value target has reached its lowest point in modern history.